Hey folks, welcome back to Greenlands, and today we are going to be doing something different to what I originally planned. Originally we were going to be cutting or chopping some corn for silage, but we have some grass fields we can cut for hay, and actually all of the cornfields need spraying for weeds, so I think we'll spray those off and then give those a bit of time for the weed killer to work. So today we're going to be spraying and mowing and tedding hay. So let's roll the intro and get stuck into it. Before we get into the actual farm work, I thought I'd do a quick tour of the farm as I have a brief moment to record this. And a couple other things about how we're going to be playing this game. So I am on, I think, 3-day seasons, 3-day months. Let's just check that. I think, yeah, 3-day months. And I'll normally be playing on ×5 probably for most things, but because August, with the way seasonal changes works, you can't change the number of days in August, playing it on ×1. So we've got our class Trion 750, which we saw in the last episode, with the header all tucked away for the year because I don't think we're going to need that, and the grain trailer in the corner. We've harvested all of our crops we're going to use and not planning to do contracts on here. We've got our Deutz 828 TTV Warrior in the green rather than my usual black. Nice supply of lime seed and fertilizer. This is the standard bunker silo that's built into the map, and then we have a modded large sheep pen. And if I can remember where the trigger is, I think this holds 200 something sheep. 200 sheep. So we are going to be running sheep on here. This is the silo that is included in the map, base game silo, and the shed that's included in the map with our class Zerion 3800, our class Jaguar 900 forage harvester, our little Massey Ferguson 3709 Alpine edition because it was on sale, a couple of Greenland plows. If you watched the setup video, you'll have seen all of this. One of Lancey Boy's sheds that we put in, which has got our 2 Lemkin planters and our 2 K branded seeders, 2 different seeders there. Doubling up on lots of kit because we have a lot of land, but the fields are kind of tight. This is the update to my modular BGA, which will be going off to Mod Hub in a few days. We have a methane charging point here, and we have an electric charging point here. And you can set the productions, in the productions menu, you can set electric charge to storing, selling or distributing, and the same for methane and digestate. Other than that, it's pretty much the same. So actually it's not. I have tweaked the recipes a little bit. Silage produces a bit more methane because I need to get a methane powered tractor on here so we can test that out a bit more. And straw produces a higher amount of methane and slightly less electricity. So that's the updates to the BGA, which will be going to the mod. Will have gone to the mod hub by the time you're watching this video. A couple of tools for our front loader, manure spawn point, Castle Farms dynamic bale storage shed for straw, hay and silage, and you can see we've got the straw in there from the last episode. Our electric telehandler, I have an edited version of this that I will be swapping this to, which is a bit faster. I mentioned it in a video, in the last video, I think in the commentary. It's faster, but it uses lots of electricity. It's had a trip to the Tesla factory. Next to that, we have our FS22, one of our carting tractors. And our other carting tractor is over here, which is a class Arian 660, and the 2 Marshall forest trailers behind it. Our Blue Power T7 with the auto-loading bale trailer and the New Holland big baler. In here we have our Massey 5S, which is going to be our sprayer tractor, which is going to be pretty busy today. Farsin self-propelled feed wagon, and then a straw blower. Most of our grasswork equipment, actually just in here we have a silage bunker roller, leveler, tedder. We might need to get a second one of those, and a set of Pottinger mowers. May well get a second one of those. A couple of Greenland TLX Geo spreads, the modded ones that take lime. Greenland sprayers, some windrower, and then the bale wrapper from the K brand. 2 bunker silos. These are again built into the map. And then we have our big cow barn. This is an edit of the large cow barn, and I think this holds 240 cows. And then the plan is in this field to put in a large open cow pasture so that we can run quite a lot of cows on here, because it's quite a big farm. And just run back around here. I don't think there are any more edits, so we've got the shed that I put in as well. And then we'll just check. Yep, so 240 cows in there, and there's the chicken pen over there, which I am probably not going to use. So that's our farmyard. So let's get stuck into some farming, get some spraying going. We need to get some herbicide, so we'll take a trailer over to the store and get that. I'm probably going to put a forklift at the store for loading consumables up, or maybe a telehandler, something like that, front loader. So yeah, let's get stuck into it. Looks like I forgot to put the intro in. Oh well, so we are up at the store and we are going to get ourselves a pickup truck. I have maxed the loan out to 10 million now. We've got 3 million left, and yeah, let's get ourselves a TLX 2020. I am going for the smallest engined version because I don't think we really need more than that. This is just quite a nice pickup. Lots of people use the Land Rovers and the Discos and stuff because it's the UK and we have to have a Land Rover or a Disco. But quite a lot of those mods throw errors when you look at them. So yeah, I have been avoiding them because I'd like to try and keep my error log clear. I'm just funny like that. And I had a look at the old Defender, and that did have some errors in it still. So sadly, it's a no from me. I'm not sure about the Disco, but everyone's using that damn Disco. So we're going to go, everyone's probably using a TLX to be honest, aren't they? But we're going to use the TLX just because it's a really nice pickup truck. I'm going to pick it up in the flat black with the Trail Boss back. Just going to run it as a standard pickup basically to tow around a small trailer and probably run a few things around the farm. I think it looks quite cool in that flat back. It might not make the best thumbnails, but it probably won't make a thumbnail anyway. But it just looks, yeah, I don't know. Tough. I didn't really use the TLX a huge amount in 19. I used it on my Little Norton series on sheep because the tank that goes on the back is a really good cheap slurry spreader if you're after a cheap option for spreading slurry. So we're going for, I just need to find it in the menu. We're going to get ourselves, I did consider the Yard It trailer, but it's not really what I want. It doesn't really do what we need. I think what we're after is in low loaders. It's got the Brockman, but everyone, again, we've used it so much on every other series. I don't think that's really what we're after. Low loaders, the I'm not sure how to say that brand. Pongy, the smelly trailer. We're going to get this low loader. Nice thing is it has got ramps, so we can use it to transport vehicles as well. Probably not on the pickup. But if we stuck it on the back of one of the big tractors, we could use it to transport smaller vehicles around the map, which would be quite useful. So we're going to pick up our lorry today as well, and an animal trailer. We're going to probably be using that a fair bit and go for this nice Scania. I can't remember where I downloaded it from, but it's quite a nice mod. I'm just going to leave it in the bright red. It's the colour that I use for a lot of stuff, so yeah. And Scania is a pretty common brand in the UK. So, and animal transport trailer, the Micheletto, because it holds lots of animals. We're going to leave that in the standard colours as well. And so we're getting sheep and cows on here. So I definitely need a big trailer, particularly as we're going to be doing beef cow and lamb for sale as well. So we're going to be shuffling animals around the map a fair bit. Obviously we want to transport myself to maximise the profit, given that we have this humongous loan to pay off. It's probably going to be a few more episodes before I actually get all of the money spent. So this episode we're doing the hay. Next episode we are probably going to be chopping corn for silage. So yeah, I just need to get my head around what equipment we still need to get, and therefore how much spare cash we have, and get the animals in, and then we can look at spending the rest on land. So episode 1 did really quite well as well for one of my series, and we're up about 500 views after a couple of days, so really pleased with that. I hope you are enjoying the series. It's a little bit different having so much cash to spend, and it's a really nice map. Really like Greenlands. I don't think I've said it already, the update for the BGA has been submitted to Giants, so we've now got the 3-ish, 4-ish week wait to see if it passes. It's quite a big update, so I'm not confident it will pass first time, but we'll see. Quite pleased with what I've managed to get into that, so as we get closer to the release I will do a little preview video on that. So we'll stick the lorry down here in the shed with the combine. It was quite cool to get the proper farm tour done as well for you guys, so for those that aren't aware or whatever, dog is getting much better now. I'd say he's 90% back to himself. Unfortunately, the other greyhound has come down with a similar issue, because it turns out it was an infection in his foot or knee, which with the old greyhound caused him to fall over and then damage the knee, which meant that no one really picked up on the fact that he had an infection in there until much later. So yesterday, our other younger greyhound, my wife, noticed that in the afternoon his foot had also started to swell up, and was getting quite warm. So there is some weird thing going on with our dogs getting infected feet. They have no visible wounds, no bite marks, or anything like that. The vets are baffled, but both are being treated. I'm a lot broker, and yeah, they're getting better, which is cool. So looking for something to stick up at the store, toying with the idea of a front loader. I wish I had the Crammer installed, because I really like that. And it turns out that the mod pack has a methane powered one in there, so that would be really cool to have on here, because our BGA generates methane that we can use for fueling. But I think we're going to go for the telly truck. It's nice, British, international really these days, isn't it? But nice suitable brand for having in the UK. We're going to get ourselves some pallet forks for now. Probably all we need down here at the store, just so we can load up pallets of herbicide, fertilizer, seed, that kind of thing. So when we were setting up the map, the first delivery of seed I had delivered straight to the farm, which we then loaded into our shed, and the spare herbicide that we're going to get will also be stored in the same shed. It's going to become our commodities store, our consumable store. It turns out I buy way too much herbicide for what we need. So I haven't done much with weeds in FS22 to this point. I have generally ploughed so you don't get weeds, but we've inherited a lot of fields with weeds, and what I don't realise is the ones that are brown, the weeds are already dead, so I assume they died over winter, so I don't need to spray those. It's just the ones that are light green, so there's only like 3 fields to spray. I thought we had about 6, so I buy way too much herbicide. But I'm sure we'll make use of it, because I am planning to do more cultivation and not just ploughing on here. We're only going to plough when we need to, so that means we will end up with weeds. And if you're a fan of precision farming, we are getting precision weeding. So they are giving us season's weeds back, so patchy weeds, which season's had, and seasonal changes doesn't have. So that's coming back. And then on top of that, included in the pack is a John Deere sprayer, which has sort of intelligent technology. It has some cameras and stuff on it which look for weeds and only spray when it sees weed. And I am sure very quickly that weeders will be getting updated with that bit of code, because precision farming comes out as a mod generally, not a DLC. The code is not locked away in the encrypted stuff that DLC content is, so modders should very quickly be able to pick up which line of code it is that you need to put into a weeder to make it work. And I might have a look at that when it comes out, because, you know, like on here I've got the Greenland weeder, and it would be nice to be able to add that as an option onto there. So I might try and look at that when the DLC comes out. I'm going to be doing a few videos on it, obviously, probably repeats of some of the stuff that I did for FS19 and covering some of the new features and things. So yeah, but really, yeah, I might have a look at how we can add that intelligent weed spraying on to other weeders. Because I think, yeah, I hate the blanket weeds that FS22 has, and I pretty much always play with precision farming anyway, so definitely having the patchy weeds back will be cool. And the benefit you get of only spraying the weeds that are visible is that there's an environmental score for the farm, which they haven't really gone into the details of yet, but using less herbicide is better for that. I guess the question is you probably have to do like I'm doing on here actually, and spray quite late so that you don't get weeds cropping back up, so you only spray once. But yeah, you probably want to spray just before the last stage of growth, before harvest, so that you don't get weeds reoccurring, because I mentioned if you spray them early you might get a second growth, because you're not doing a pre-emerge spray like, you know, you would have in FS19 with weeds and seasons, where you could plant and then do a pre-emerge spray to make sure you didn't ever get weeds. I really need to dig more into weeds. Dig, weeds, weeds, dig. Sorry. Let's get into the time lapse and get this stuff back to the yard and get the sprayer hooked up and get that to work. So these two cornfields definitely do need spraying. I need Courseplay to do the spraying so that I can get into the mowing. And we're going to have, I think, one more video in August on here, maybe half a video. Depends if I can chop the corn yet, whether it is in a late enough growth so you can chop corn green. It might need to move to September for it to be good and to be grown enough to cut. So yeah, let's get Courseplay going. I'm running the current latest version of Courseplay, excuse me, which does have some cool features like telling you that the course is done. And from one of the guys on my Discord, if you click on that notification, it will jump you to the vehicle, I think. And so we're going to stick the NovaCap mowers onto the, I think it's a 7 series I've got, or 8 series I've got on here. Probably need to get a 9 series at some point. And one of the things I forgot with these NovaCap mowers is they have a variable width, and by which you not ever want to run it on the maximum. I guess the only problem with running it on the maximum is if you take the corners quickly, you do miss a bit like that. But we've got 2 grass fields that are ready to mow. We're going to mow those for hay so that next time we can get sheep, because we may as well use the corn for silage. Until we get Maize Plus, there is no difference. So yeah, we'll make silage out of the corn. We'll be adding Maize Plus onto here as soon as we can get access to it, which should be the same time as the rest of you get access to it. But yeah, definitely something that I want to add in to the save. Let's try and get GPS going on here, and I also have headland management on here, and I can't remember the controls for that, so we're going to try and get that going as well, just for a little bit of lazy grass mowing. See, with the headland management you can get it to automate the turns for you, which is kind of cool. So first field sprayed, and see this, you guys probably all know this, so the weeds, the sprayed weeds turn brown like the withered weeds. So yeah, so yeah, this is probably the first time I've sprayed weeds off, I think. Certainly one of the very few times that I have done it. So we're just getting the headland management mode set up to work with VCA, and trying to remind myself of the keys to do the automated VCA turning. And now it's just a case of hitting Alt and Q or E, I think it was, to do the turn, and that kicks headland management mode in, which slows down the mowers, lifts them up, and that's that field done. So just checking this field, and yes, the weeds are withered in there. We have this slightly bigger grass field around the corner. This one does have the slight funny that the field definition is bigger than the field. I think it sits under the hedge somewhere. So I mow it myself, but then I use course play to do the windrowing and tedding and baling on that field. And I did run into some issues with getting that to work, because the field definition that course play picks up is wider than the field area that we can actually mow. So field of sugar beet to spray off as well. I think this is the last field that we currently own that we need to spray. I may end up buying another field of sugar beet field. I think it's field 88 just down the bottom by the entrance to the farm. It's a fairly big field which is also full of sugar beet, and if we're going to have to lease a beet harvester anyway, might as well maximize the amount of sugar beet that we do. Might mean we do some sugar on here. I don't think there are any productions. I don't know if there are productions built into the map actually, but if there are not, maybe we need to put a sugar mill on here. So running headland management mode again just makes this job nice and easy. I was having a kind of chilled out evening at home, and yeah, just getting some grass mown. We have the money to have the technology to maximize the ease, maximize minimizing the effort. I don't know. Anyway, we can cut across this field that we cut the canola on last time. Weeder is also finished. So just putting a jet wash in because everything's a bit messy now. And then what we're going to do, I think, is let that grass sit in the sun for a little while and do some fertilizing. There are some fields that we can fertilize to maximize our yield before harvest time. So we may as well do that as well. Want to get as much off of this land as we possibly can at this point. So yeah, the silage we are going to be making from the corn is going to go for TMR for the cows, but also into RBGA. The sooner we can get that working, the better, because then we can start making some money. There is an amusing moment coming up here. It very definitely would have been a candidate for an outtake if I hadn't been recording anyway. So we put the weight on the back of the little Massey to load up the Greenlands spreader. And it's quite a small tractor that spreader's on, isn't it? It's quite a small tractor that spreader's on. Yeah. I'll just dip to the store and get a weight, I think. Is that probably funnier when it happened for me because it was in slightly slower time. But yeah, we'll get 1,000 kilo weight to stick on the front in Massey Red. That should help out a bit. We probably needed to go a bit heavier even, or use one of our slightly bigger tractors. Maybe this tractor isn't cut out for being a spreader tractor. Yeah, we can get this field fertilized. There are a few that we can run around. I think some of the cornfields can be fertilized as well, and that will just help out with getting as much off the land as we can. So yeah, definitely enjoying playing on Greenlands. And there's been a bit of a gap in the tutorials, and if you're a fan of just the tutorials, you're probably not watching at the moment, but that's just been a function of the dog not being well, and probably get back into those soon. I want to do a tutorial on Proceed because I really like Proceed, and it'd be good to do a tutorial on that for folks. I think I had got pretty much set up to do that just before Joker hurt his foot, got an infection, so yeah, that kind of screwed things up. So we may get into that next week if we can. And there are a few other things I've got my ideas on making videos on. So yeah, we'll probably get into a bit more variety again next week, and not just the Let's Plays, although I am enjoying just playing Farm Sim. It's quite fun. Particularly Calmston and Greenlands I'm loving. Survival challenge on over there on. If you watched it, the last few videos, you see I've gone a bit flat on that series, but actually kind of enjoying it again as I skip forwards towards harvest on there. So yeah, and I'm toying with where we go next. I have said that we're going to the old stream farm next, but I may pause because the idea with that series is it's going to run right through FS22 and we're just going to see how far we get. But I might pause it because I really want to go to Westby, Wisconsin, or we take that series to Westby. And the idea is I'll probably do a year or two on a map with that series, and we'll just see how we get through FS and where we end up. I think that could be quite interesting until the point where we all get bored of it anyway. So we'll get course play. In fact, no, we'll just quickly, this field is so small, I'll just quickly do this one. We can leave a worker going on the tedder. Now, obviously, if you're a fan of Maize Plus, the tedding is coming back with that, and you can ted up to 52 million times. Just got the electric fastening going to refill the spreader. This should be easier than the other. The Massey is busy, so we've got to telehandle it, so we might as well use it. And we want to run the battery down on that so we can charge it with the BGA when we put stuff in there. So back to course plate for this guy. We need to get the tedder over into the other field, and again that's going to be on course play as well. So a fair bit of course play in this series. It's probably harder to catch all the setup that I'm doing in course play with it being a time lapse. But let's grab the windrower. This the FS22 is probably a bit big for this job, but you know, whether we need a third small tractor for the grass work or a bigger windrower. It's a real balance on here of size of equipment because we have a lot of land to cover versus size of equipment because the fields are quite snug. And I talk about it in the next video because I've recorded the intro for that already. People appreciate the feedback from people on the gates, and I think probably we will be turning the gates off on here. That seems to be generally people's consensus, and what we will also be doing is opening up the field entrances a little bit, so we'll do a bit of landscaping to make a kind of entrance way into each field. We'll lose a bit of farmable land, but I think it will just be easier. So that one is tedded. Windrowed, sorry, let's take the windrow up here, and we're going to set course play up on here, and we're going to do it so that we do the center first, because we're going to run the baler on the same course, and generally it works better for the baler if you do the center first. So got the big baler, the HD baler on the back of the T7, and we'll get this hay baled up and into Casa Farms dynamic bale storage. And if I'm trying to remember to put a link for that below, if not, if you search Casa Farms on itch.io, you'll find it. It's on his itch.io site at the moment. It has been submitted to ModHub for testing on there. It's going to be PC only because it does have scripts in it, and if you want more details on that, I've got a video on it on the channel from when Casa released it on his itch page. itch.io is a really good place to go and get mods if you're on PC and you want mods. A lot of modders are starting to create itch.io pages to release their own mods, just with all the issues with some of the modding sites. So yeah, if you want links for those, the Authentic Mods Discord, I think it is, has loads of them. Or check out Tyson Deniz's website because he has links to most of the other modders on there as well. And Tyson has some really good mods. So. Not sure how many bales we're going to get off of here, but it looks like a decent number. And we have 2 fields, obviously, so yeah, lots of bales. Which is going to be good because it's the start of our animal feed. Quite a long video, this one. Quite a lot to talk through. I'm keen to get on to the next field so that we can look at the issues I had with the course play course. And basically my plan, because of the issue with the field definition that I mentioned, and I think it affects a few fields on here, is to try and catch the windrower before it gets on the last headland, and then I'll run that myself. And we're pretty much spot on for that. So we're going to save that course because we need it for the baler. We'll just get this guy going. So this is planted with grass, but for some reason wasn't germinated. Just while we wait for the windrow to do a little bit more, we'll jump in the Zarian and bale collect. Perfect bale collecting tractor. And realistically, it actually is because of the hills. Dump these into the bale storage, and I forgot which trigger takes the bales. It's the one on the side. So baler is running. I manually windrowed the outside, and we are now just picking up some of the bales before we finish up on here. I am going to say thank you for watching, folks. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave me a comment, leave me a like. We don't smash like buttons. I need likes. If you smash the like button, you've got to buy it or buy me a coffee. And yeah, I'll catch you next time on Greenlands.